Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
WESN.
Good morning and welcome to AM Prime on WESN. I am Takia Thompson, your host for our Talk It Out Tuesday show. As we begin this morning with our Beyond the Headline segment, several issues were raised across the country over the weekend. But one headline in particular has captured the nature's attention, with many citizens, business, and officials having different opinions. The government is preparing to seek parliamentary approval for a 3-month extension of the current state of emergency, citing national security assessments that indicate the emergency measures have disrupted criminal activity and other security threats. Meanwhile, former Police Commissioner Gary Griffith has described this move as a reflection of law enforcement failure. Griffith argues that previous administration achieved significant reduction in serious crime without emergency measures and warns that prolonged SOEs could damage public confidence, investments, tourism, and country's international reputation. He joins us now to discuss his concerns. Good morning, Mr. Griffith.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. So you have described the extension of the state of emergency as an admission of failure. Why do you believe law enforcement has failed despite the measures already put in place?
Yeah, because we have a constitution, and the constitution provides immense power and authority for law enforcement that can deprive citizens of their rights, which is that of your right to be free. And in that constitution, all of the many powers and authority that will be given to the law enforcement authorities. If it is that the law enforcement authorities do not have the capability to be successful in trying to curb crime and allow the criminal elements to continue, and then even worse, we are in a position where it is that citizens, the perception and fear of crime sometimes is just as important to have that reduced than crime itself. It means that those who hold the hierarchy in law enforcement, they have failed. Because to ask for a state of emergency, it means that you're telling the government, you're telling the country, even though you all have given us immense powers in law enforcement, we do not have the capability to curb crime. We do not have the capability to peg back criminals. We do not know how to provide deterrence, high visibility, a rapid response. We do not know how to build public trust and confidence in the public should have in the police. And because of that, we need a state of emergency. The only thing that a state of emergency can do, other than good policing, professionalism, dedication to duty, putting a high visibility, a rapid response, a high deterrent, is 2 things. It's firstly, it gives the military some degree of authority in powers of arrest. And 2, it allows the police to arrest anyone without evidence. And that is where people now, again, this has become so political that those who may be yellow or red, they are making a decision on this SOE based on that. It should not be, and that is what I think it is destroying our country, where we make decisions based on our political affiliation, rather than what is right or wrong, rather than the facts. I have been making comments, and the comments that because the comments I'm making might not please people on either side. On one side, I'll be making a comment to state that I believe that there should be an extension of the SOE. You're looking for a walk. And on the other side, I'm stating that this shows that it is based on failure of the law enforcement to do their job. They say it's sour grapes. When people make comments like that on social media, it shows their ignorance, it shows limited brain cells, because they cannot debate. They do not have the capability to understand what is being said. So they try to get personal. My take on it is that the Prime Minister was left with no choice other than to call for SOE extension because of the failure of those in authority and law enforcement to do their job. I recall, as Commissioner of Police and Security Minister, almost every single week I will be doing a press conference with a new policy, a new program, a new unit, new technology, new system, and with that, it made the country feel safe, but it also pegged back criminal elements. This hierarchy of the police service, within the last year, Guevara has come up with one new anti-crime initiative, and that is to be able to protect diplomats, which is good. But it means that for a whole year, he has not come up with anything of any substance to reduce crime, to make people feel safe, to peg back criminals, whether it be a high visibility or rapid response or deterrent. And because of that, he has now become known as the SOE COP. His one crime plan is a state of emergency, and that is what the police, he would have gone to the government and say, look, I am failing, I do not have a clue what to do, I have no ideas whatsoever. So because of that, we need to have a state of emergency extension because I do not have the capability. My final point on that is that persons who may support the SOE based on the numbers, they will say, well, it was 629 murders in 2025, but last year was 369 odd, so it means that that is successful. Okay, well, if that is the case, then we should have a 24-hour curfew. The murders will go down even more. And maybe if we had a constitution, we could even have martial law and let the army take over. When would the line of stupidity end for you to say, well, the end justifies the means? Because your most fundamental right in life is that of safety, and security, your right to live, and also your right to be free. A state of emergency allows many people, those who are totally blinded by the politics, are saying, well, it's not affecting me, so what is the problem? But it can affect you because it provides the window of opportunity for any police officer who may be vindictive, who may be arrogant, who may have an axe to grind, who may be politically influenced. And I'm not saying that it's done by this police service, thankfully, but this is a window of opportunity that in many countries that allow persons to be persecuted by the law enforcement agencies, by the state, because you have removed their rights for freedom, their rights for natural justice, because an SOE allows anybody, at times the police can easily say that anybody in this country, based on intelligence, just use the word intelligence, allows me now to have a detention order on you. And that could be persons who may be political opponents to the government, it could be persons who may be, people you just don't like, you have some personal matter with an individual. That's the danger of a state of emergency. It can cause any senior police officer to just use that word of intelligence rather than evidence. And the same thing we could say about the Minister of Homeland Security. If he just doesn't like somebody, and I'm not saying I have absolutely no evidence whatsoever to say that that is what they are doing or what I'm stating what can be done. So by having a SOE, you have now deprived you with that opportunity for that right of natural justice. And that is a very dangerous precedent.
Mm-hmm. And along those lines, if the SOE has led to arrests, seizures and disruptions of criminal activity, why do you think it should not be continued? And even to stick in as well, the government says that the data and intelligence, like you mentioned before, it would have significantly disrupted those disputes. So do you reject those findings, or do you just don't believe that it justifies?
That you didn't hear a word I just said. I actually answered your question.
Yeah, that's why I said.
I know you have a list of questions. I just answered it by stating exactly that. I just spoke for the last 7 minutes to explain that. So my apologies for actually giving you the answer before you asked me the question, but I did answer that.
I mentioned you just answered based on it, but just to clarify that part with either rejecting the findings or just not justifying that extension.
Yeah, okay, so I will repeat myself, and what I'm stating is that if it is at the end justifies the mean, then why not have a 24-hour curfew, and then murders will go down even more. Why not have martial law if we had laws to do that, to have the army have full control and just incarcerate anyone as they feel? You cannot, this is like stating that we are being successful in reducing crime. Let's look at the World Cup. It's like, let's say, for example, Curacao, no, they cannot beat Brazil in the World Cup. So 11 versus 11, so they insist that they play with 22 players, and then they say, well, look, we have done well. That is what the SOE is doing. You are putting yourself in a position that have deprived citizens of natural justice, because you do not have the capability to acquire enough evidence to incarcerate persons. So instead, you're using a detention order. What this is doing is stating, look, we do not have the capability of proper intelligence gathering to turn that into evidence to properly arrest persons. So we have the SOE, and the SOE is one where we just lock up anybody who we feel might be a criminal, whether it is a drug lord, a gang leader, a shooter, an assassin, or whoever. And by doing that, and you do not have the evidence, what happens after is that the 250 odd persons who are incarcerated will all sue the state. They're going to claim about $1 million. We are now going to lose $250 million, just as the same thing that happened in 2011. It does make sense. And the point being is that we have seen in the past, without a state of emergency that gives you the authority to arrest persons based on evidence and hearsay rather than, based on intelligence and hearsay rather than evidence, it now shows your incompetence, because you would have seen in 2018 or 2021, in 2020 was the highest, it was the lowest number of murders in any given year from August 2020 to August 2021, without an SOE that gave the police the authority to incarcerate persons. That's the value of the SOE. Additionally, people who believe that the SOE, I listened to the Commissioner of Police make a very stupid statement recently when he said, what's the problem, why the SOE affecting you all? Bothering you all? Trying to say that only criminals are affected by the SOE. It shows that this man obviously has no training or qualification in economics, commerce, accounts, or anything with business. Because when you have a state of emergency, it triggers a response internationally that can lift the travel advisory. It can affect investment. It can affect trade. It can affect tourism. All of these things now become byproducts that can now affect your income in a budget. By your income now being reduced, it means that the expenditure can now be much higher than your income. Because of that now, it can lead to increase in cost of goods and services, which becomes a byproduct for increased unemployment, increased inflation, and with that becomes a byproduct to increased crime. So that is so when people speak about, well, the SOE is not affecting me, it does affect you. These things will affect the economy immensely. And my point is, you do not need a SOE if it is you just do your darn job. If it is that you put policies, systems, programs. All that this commissioner has done is find excuses why he shut down the Special Operation Response Team, why he shut down the Rapid Response Unit, the Community Comfort Patrol has not been reignited. You're utilizing the National Operations Center that is $500 million and giving it to, and that is the highest degree of technology that is supposed to be used for all aspects of law enforcement, and you've given it to a man who's still walking around with a World War II walkie-talkie. Good morning, Johnny Abraham. I hope you have a great day. And with these things, it is laughable, it is comical, and it is all an admission of failure. If it is that the minister cannot come up with policies and the commissioner cannot come up with operational systems, you have now turned to calling an SOE. If you, as I said, if you provide the systems, the units, the programs, the technology, you can peg back the criminals, you can provide the high visibility, you can provide the rapid response, and by doing that, there's no need for a state of emergency. Failure for those in authority to do their job, it is what has caused the Prime Minister to be forced to call a state of emergency extension.
Yeah. Thank you for clearing that up and re-answering me again on that. And you have been highly critical of the current TTPS leadership. So what new initiatives would you have expected the TTPS to introduce over the past year? Well,
again, I mean, all I could do is to judge it based on what I would have done. As Commissioner of Police in my 3 years, there would have been over 100 every week, almost every week on a Wednesday, I will have a press conference and introduce the gender-based violence unit, the rapid response unit, the special operation response team, online reporting, body cameras, tasers, pepper spray, GPS tracking on police vehicles, operational command center, commissioner's command center, social media monitoring unit. Every single week there was a system, a program, a unit, a technology. And because of that, it allowed many persons to say, yes, things are changing. It also, that is what should be done to provide that rapid response, that high visibility, that heavy deterrent. That is what will peg back the criminal elements. That is what caused them to be pushed back. Failure to do that, and you're saying nothing, you're doing nothing, other than speak to the media and the public in a very condescending tone. It shows ignorance at the highest level. And that is what this commission is not doing. But I cannot blame him because remember, this is a man who was in middle management and did not have the capability to even do well in assessments for a position from junior middle management of one post to another. It's like somebody who's applied to be a clerk 1 and applied to be clerk 2, and there are 20 vacancies, and you can't come in the top 20, but yet they make you the CEO of the company. That will obviously demoralize any institution. And so he does not have the capability. Instead, what he's very good at is being arrogant, obnoxious, refusing to speak to anyone, blocking persons on WhatsApp, inclusive of the media. That is not good leadership. And the same with the Minister of Homeland Security. He's not qualified. He has never, his budget when I was commissioner and he was a very junior officer would have been about $100 budget he had. Now he has a $6 billion budget. He was in charge of one person probably on a talk show, and now he's in charge of 20,000. When persons get that degree of authority and power and they don't have the experience, they are not going to be capable to do what it is I'm speaking about, coming up with unit systems, programs, technology to peg back criminal elements, to provide the deterrent, and to ensure the public trust and confidence can be increased. That is what is not being done. So, but I'm not blaming the commissioner. The commissioner didn't put himself there. He was put there by a police service commission that absolutely no one has heard about in the last year. I could ask most people in this country, who is the chairman of the Police Service Commission? They don't know. This man has said absolutely nothing. Is it because somebody in the Police Service Commission was a batch of Guerrero, or they were closely aligned with Guerrero? And if that is the case, they should recuse themselves if it has to do with any type of measuring of performance. As Commissioner of Police, anytime there was an incident or a concern, you will hear Bliss C. Prasad, you would have heard Judith Jones, you would have heard Ms. Gomes, from 2018 or so. So you will hear the Police Service Commission. Now we have a situation where there are so many concerns about extrajudicial killings. Commissioner of Police finding every excuse under the sun not to have body cameras, trying to blame everybody else but himself for what is happening. He's being accused of his attitude, unable to come up with any anti-crime plan, and there's not a word from the Police Service Commission. So if anybody should be removed, it's not really Guerrero, it should be the Police Service Commission, and that is where it is hoped that the President, as the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces and the person who has selected this Police Service Commission, she needs to rope them in and either have them shape up or be removed.
And in terms of safety on the country's behalf, right, do you believe that a country is safer today than when it was, before the SOE was implemented? And why do you believe this, or why not do you believe this?
Well, again, that's why I said, if the Prime Minister did not call for an extension of the state of emergency, and we went without the state of emergency, definitely we would have gone to probably close to 700 murders this year, going on to 700 murders. Last year, because of the state of emergency, it provides the tool to incarcerate anybody who you believe might cause crime. Now, that is a very dangerous, and that's why it affects our country and travel advisory, investment, trade, tourism, and so forth, because you have now deprived citizens of their fundamental right to freedom. So, but by doing that, if you incarcerate anybody who you believe can be an enemy of the state, or who you believe can be someone who will commit a crime, crime will go down. The murders would go down, and you would have seen it. But that is why. But the point being is that is not required. What is required is good policing, good leadership, thinking out of the box. The Minister of Homeland Security, he does not have a clue about any policy or system or program or technology. Likewise, the Commissioner of Police. So because of their inability to do so, they are now just coming up with the SOE. And that's what I said, because of the individuals who hold the hierarchy in law enforcement, who are responsible for policies, because they are not policy driven, because they do not know how to come up with any anti-crime plan, we are forced to have the state of emergency. So the value of the state of emergency is by the reduction of murders based on the failure of those in authority and law enforcement to do their job.
And lastly, along the line, just to reiterate, because I do believe you've answered this partly in what you were saying before, Parliament is expected to debate the extension on Wednesday. So what message would you like lawmakers to consider before they vote on whether to continue the state of emergency?
The independent senators and everyone, they need to understand the situation we are in. I always said a state of emergency should not be used as a crime-fighting tool. If it is that you do proper policing, you measure the performance of the Commissioner of Police, but there's an incompetent Police Service Commission that is silent because they know exactly what is happening, that has been the problem. until there's a proper commissioner of police and a minister of Homeland Security who understands policies, we are forced to continue with a state of emergency. Anytime we pull the plug on a state of emergency, those 250 persons who are incarcerated, the majority of them may very well be criminal elements. They are going to fight back. They are going to hit and hit hard. And it means, as I said, 629 murders in 2025. It could very well go to over 650 or 700. So the state of emergency, yes, it has provided a reduction in murders. But as I said, it affects the country in the long run because it puts a hit badly in investment, tourism, trade, the economy. And because of that also, a major point is that all of those 250 persons being incarcerated, a few of them may have been totally, they have lost their right to freedom based on wrongful arrest. And as I said, it's going to cost us hundreds of millions of dollars when they are all released because you didn't have enough evidence. But that today could be those individuals. Tomorrow could be you. Tomorrow could be a rogue police officer or a rogue politician who decides to say, see me, this fella's talking too much. I don't like this person. Let's put a detention order and say that it is based on affecting national security. That is how dangerous a state of emergency can be. However, as I said, I just hope that the politicians realize, because of the failure and the incompetence of those who hold law enforcement authority to do their job, the Prime Minister needs to have a state of emergency to keep Trinidad and Tobago in check.
Thank you so much, Mr. Griffiths, for coming on this morning and sharing with us. Definitely a pleasure always.
Thank you.
Guys, we are about to take a short break. When we come back, we have more engaging conversations, so stay with us.
If you've gotten to the point where you have the aches and pains and they're on a daily basis, they're not transient anymore, then it's probably gone already a little bit too far, right? So what a patient has to understand, what your audience has to understand, is the fact that you need to pay attention to self now, in that perimenopausal age range.
We're talking about 40s.
Right? In your 40s.
From the time you hit 40,
in your 40s, you know it's coming. You can't escape it, right?
Start to change the way you take care of yourself.
Yes, exactly. And you have to know what options are available to you.
Our award-winning show is back, and this season promises to be even more exciting than before. What's Up, Doc isn't just a title, it's a call to action for anyone who wants to improve their health and well-being. Join us on this thrilling ride towards better health on WESN Content Capital.
Are you driven, ambitious, and ready to earn? WESN, the Content Capital, is expanding, and we're looking for dynamic media sales executives to join our team. Sell powerful advertising solutions across television, digital, and social media platforms, and help brands tell their story. If you have strong communication skills, a passion for sales, and the drive to succeed, join WESN today. Send your CV to marketing@wsncc.com or WhatsApp 68-61662 and start building your future.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
In this day of stay-at-home and work from home, home has never meant more than it does today. Whether you're looking to buy, rent or build your new home, now is the time to get going. Gittins & Gittins real estate agents are here to take you to that place of your dreams. Let us take you home. We help you find that rental to rest along the way or journey with you to find your home destination. Investors and commercial enterprises too, call us and we'll walk the distance to place your business in just the right location. Owners, leave the headaches to us. We'll find your tenants or buyers while you stay at home. We'll even manage your property at your bidding. Anything real estate, come home to Gittins & Gittins Real Estate. Call us at 760-3280 or 747-1220 or visit us at 16 Fifth Street in Woodbrook.
Hi, I am Emiliana Beechan and I am a mental health and conflict resolution consultant. Welcome to Mind Matters, the show where we explore the intricate world of mental health and the art of conflict resolution. Join us as we hear from mental health professionals, conflict resolution experts, and everyday people who have transformed their lives through understanding and communication. Mind Matters, WESN Content Capital.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
The home of Caribbean content is growing and we welcome you to be a part of the #1 platform for young personalities who are driven to make a positive impact in society. As we continue to reach every corner of Trinidad and Tobago through our daily broadcasts, our social media pages, or through our 75+ digital billboards across the nation, contact us to learn about our competitive rates via marketing at wesncc.com or call us at 628-5835. WESN Content Capital. Television with a difference.
Welcome back. Legislation aimed at regulating social media use for children under the age of 12 is expected to form part of the government's legislative agenda during the second session of Parliament. Prime Minister Kamala Prasad-Bissessar says the administration remains committed to addressing the issues affecting citizens, with proposed measures also including amendments to modernize the Education Act and the development of parental responsibilities framework to tackle school violence. Let's highlight this in our Youth Spotlight segment. The proposal has sparked discussion about online safety, children's digital rights, parental oversight, enforcement challenges, and the role of technology in young people's lives. Digital consultant Nigel Toussaint shares his perspective on the government's plans and the broader implications for families, educators, and the technology sector. Good morning, Mr. Toussaint.
Good morning, good morning. It's a pleasure as usual to be here. And good morning to your online audience and to the television world as well.
Now, Nigel, what is your initial reaction to the government's proposal to regulate school media use for children under 12? Do you believe age-based restrictions on social media are an effective way to protect children online?
Well, my initial reaction is that the government is responding to a real problem. After all, children under 12 are not developmentally ready for many social media environments. But at the same time, legislation must be carefully designed. A simple ban may sound strong, but the real issue is the safety, environment, digital education, parental responsibility, and platform accountability as well.
Absolutely. Are there international models or best practices that Trinidad and Tobago should consider when developing these legislations?
Yes, there are. We can do a study in the Australian model. They have an under 16 model, so they actually took it from a notch at under 16. However, there's known to be one of the heaviest models, strictest, but they focus on the social media platforms themselves. So if there's an issue, the child, of course, is not fined. The parents are not fined, but it's more the social media platforms. So, you do have their own YouTube, Twitter, and all these things. They will be fined, and they're talking about millions if they are found in default. UNICEF itself, that's under the UN, has a guideline. There's also the UK's online safety approach. They as well respond to online platforms. However, Trinidad and Tobago don't really have its own social media platforms. We rely on international platforms, and their challenge may lie. Australia have 24 million people. We have 1.4. So we don't really have that strength to really put any sort of pressure on international agencies. However, we can try to more regulate it with respect to creating that environment where parents, educated parents, are putting that responsibility on the parents as well as schools as well. Mm-hmm. But platforms must have duties, although we don't have that local-based platform so much as opposed to the international. But there should be some duty to protect children.
Yeah. And along the lines of protecting children, what challenges or what challenge could arise in verifying the ages of users without compromising that privacy?
Well, the age verification. Now, this is one of the hardest issues.
Yeah.
You don't want to protect children and have a massive database with children's information. We have to preserve privacy as well. And there may be those who may try to get on that database and take advantage of the situation. There must be some sort of proportion and security, and not collect more information that is necessary. So, of course, you would not have children pictures and all these things that are being placed on a database.
Mm-hmm. And we know that we're in a generation with a lot of tech-savvy children coming up. So is it possible that they can find ways around the restrictions? And if so, what can or how can policymakers address that?
Well, that's the thing. I always say that children are born without an IT degree because they catch on to this and sometimes even faster than adults. So there are children who can find a way around systems or barriers placed to prevent them from getting on in the first place. And some of them may be a bit technical, but others are very easy. Just older just answer a question and accept and all these things, or show that you're over 18. Some may use an elder sibling or even a parent. There are some irresponsible parents. They may even use a parent to get onto that platform or to that social media device that should not be is not age appropriate for them. You know, it's a real task, and parents have to be very vigilant and monitor, and of course, screen time.
Yeah.
Monitor the screen time as well. That's very important. Of course, parents have a responsibility.
Yeah, definitely. And where should that balance lie between parental responsibility and government regulation?
Well, the fact remains that government cannot be in your home at 12 at night. You know, so there's that heavy responsibility on the parents. The government can do what it can to put things in place to educate parents about the controls and advise them as well. But it's all about creating that ecosystem, that environment of safety for the child, and parents can be trained to understand the dangers to their own child or children. And once they have that education, they can enforce the necessary supervision with respect to their children.
Yeah. And along those lines, not many times, parents don't fully understand the platform their children is using. So very much, getting that literacy on it. But also, yes, can you share on what tools or resources that parents need to better protect their children online?
There's just simple guides, parents need simple guides. They have to understand that on the device itself, there are plenty control settings that they can put. Of course, as I mentioned, screen time rules and reporting contacts as well. So there are people on platforms who may actually be trying to reach out to children in appropriate ways, in grooming. So parents must monitor, understand the platform, and again, there could be a lot of workshops in the schools as well, and public education campaigns. We know, yes, a lot of parents may not understand TikTok, Snapchat, Discord, but this is the age of information. You could go on YouTube and ask about this, type in type in social media guidance for parents or something. And of course, there's AI as well.
Definitely. And along those lines, should digital literacy become stronger component of the school's curriculum? And also, how can schools help students navigate social media safely and responsibly?
Yes, of course. Digital literacy must become stronger in the curriculum. And children must learn privacy. There's also, as I mentioned earlier, online grooming. They have to understand about that and know when a situation is becoming or has become inappropriate. There's that problem as well that we face of cyberbullying. That's a real problem. And misinformation as well. Some people send out some information that is not right. Sometimes deep fake, you get a lot of false information. That's an issue. And children should also learn respectful communication. Something about that I don't know if to call it a disconnection, but it tends to, because the person is not there physically, it tends to encourage sometimes disrespectful communication. So there should be some sort of training on respectful communication. Same way how we learn manners growing up, saying good morning, good afternoon. There can also be a trainer on being respectful online.
Right. And is banning or restraining access enough, or must there also be an emphasis on that digital education?
No, restriction without education only pushes the problem underground. right? You get that underground. People will go behind and of course use something like the VPN, which can really mask your identity, your location, and all these things. Children must be taught how to behave online, how to identify danger. Teach your child how to say where you teach your children, especially the physical world, about not talking to strangers and all these things. You have to teach them about identifying danger online. So restriction is not enough. You must educate. You have to learn how to ask for help and how to use technology responsibly.
Yeah, and can you share a bit on what impact can the excessive social media have on children's mental health and even their development?
You know, I'm glad that's a very good question. You know, sometimes teachers are complaining a lot about children falling asleep in class. You know, they're tired, listless. You know, excessive social media use can affect sleep. I know that a lot of parents may like to put television in the child's bedroom. I hope the children don't have a protest against me, but that may not be such a great idea. All right, they may be watching whatever during the night while you think they're sleeping. All right, and remember a long time there was the television shut off. Social media do not shut off. It's always there. They may get attention deficit. You know, it may affect their self-esteem as well. So it could really be a serious mental impact as well. There is emotional regulation, body image. You know, you see a lot of good-looking people online, and sometimes people are insulted when it comes to weight shaming and all these things.
Right.
You get anxiety, you get a lot of depression. In the young children, depressed, you know, and it can happen their social development as well. So the concern is not only screen time, but there's the compulsive use and harmful content. Sometimes there's always the question, how young or how old should a child be before they get their first tablet?
Yeah.
You know, I would say probably 6. You know, some people may say, we still find that's too old, but you're seeing 3 and 4 year olds with tablets now. You know, and imagine the damage they get with respect to their eyes as well. They hold it up to their eyes and there could be damage. But other than that, you know, we just have to, parents must come in to regulate and cut off that screen time.
Yeah. And on a positive side of things, are there positive benefits of social media for younger users that policymakers should also consider?
Well, of course, there are a lot of educational programs as well. You know, learning the creativity, they learn new things, cultural expression. All right, I try to encourage as much people to write. They could do a lot of local audiobooks. There are the tools now. There are the AI tools that people can create local AI books, audio books, share books online about their culture, about their own culture. They get that cultural expression. There's, of course, research. I remember being in school and we had to get, just before internet, and we had to get pictures of, remember the parliament, that was tough. You had to buy papers like that every day just to get pictures of the MPs. That was a challenge. Now we can just go and get that information, research. They can develop digital skills, which can help them in the future.
Yeah.
Digital skills like video editing. You know, and the beauty about it, when they get good enough and they're in that world of adults and learning that video editing, they can market their skill not only to Trinidad and Tobago alone, but internationally as well, and stay in Trinidad at the same time.
Yeah.
They can access to, supportive communities and policy, but there must of course be that policy geared to protecting the children without cutting them off from the benefits of technology.
Thank you for sharing that. And also, what advice would you give to parents who are concerned about their children's online safety but are unsure where to begin?
Start with conversation. Talk with the child. Conversation. Don't start with punishment. You know, ask the child what apps they use. You know, have that conversation with your child. What apps they use? You know, you can check the privacy settings and set the device free times. You know, say, okay, well, you can have it when you come home from school, whatever time, 5 to 6 o'clock, and after 6, that's it. That is it. You know, we never off of it sometimes. Right? And there's that feature as well that the screen just goes dark and you cannot use it after that period of time you set it. So if you set it for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, it will go blank and only the parent can change the settings. Keep the devices again out of bedrooms at night. Right? So the child don't think a child will get an emergency call at 10 o'clock in the night.
Right.
That child, other than that, if that happens, that child will jump somewhere that you don't know about. Right? But, you know, keep that device, take away the phones when the night comes. And most importantly, let them know that you're there for them and they can count on you and let them know let you know if something goes wrong online.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Nigel, for coming on and sharing. As always, very informative and timely with what you do and what you share. So thank you.
Thank you so very much for having me.
Absolutely. Guys, we are about to take another short break. When we come back, we have more engaging conversations, so stay with us.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.
In this day of stay at home and work from home, home has never meant more than it does today. Whether you're looking to buy, rent, or build your new home, now is the time to get going. Gittins & Gittins real estate agents are here to take you to that place of your dreams. Let us take you home. We help you find that rental to rest along the way or journey with you to find your home destination. Investors and commercial enterprises too, call us and we'll walk the distance to place your business in just the right location. Owners, leave the headaches to us. We'll find your tenants or buyers while you stay at home. We'll even manage your property at your bidding. Anything real estate, come home to Gittins & Gittins Real Estate. Call us at 760-3280 or 747-1220 or visit us at 16 Fifth Street in Woodbrook.
Hi, I am Emiliana Beechan and I am a mental health and conflict resolution consultant. Welcome to Mind Matters, the show where we explore the intricate world of mental health and the art of conflict resolution. Join us as we hear from mental health professionals, conflict resolution experts, and everyday people who have transformed their lives through understanding and communication. Mind Matters, WESN Content Capital.
Pastor J, I want to get a tattoo.
You really want
to me. Respond to me how you would respond to me.
The first question I'll ask is why?
Controversial taboo topics.
We get so consumed by church, we forget that we have to live the life of being a Christian outside of the Sunday.
Like you say,
services.
we think going to a service makes us a Christian.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. So here we are about to hear the second time Pastor J wanted to take a tattoo.
Would have been late last year and early this year.
Oh gosh.
Hope Unfiltered podcast with Pastor J and Ren.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378, or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
This is 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson. The distance from where we should be in the world in going forward on our commitments with climate change.
The effects of climate change that cannot be accounted for. It's called loss and damage, and we're seeing loss and damage happening so much more in this decade and the previous decade.
The principal term there was this question of the correspondent banking issues.
That is why we're trying to build capacity with this country here, Trinidad and Tobago, and other countries in the region. Man is not showing any signs of stopping or even slowing down. More than half of the forest in Trinidad is already gone.
All the plants and all the animals and all of the nice clean water and fresh air and everything had to be on this planet for humanity to have a chance.
We have small change when it comes to countries that can take decisions, and when they speak, the world listens.
The General Assembly is a very democratic forum. And Trinidad and Tobago has the same vote as Canada, in spite of the obvious difference in size.
Welcome back. As always, we'd like to thank Mr. Gary Griffiths and Mr. Nigel Toussaint for joining us this morning to share in on those conversations. Now we turn our attention to our Ask the Expert segment. A new tropical system has formed in the Eastern Pacific. Tropical storm Christina developed off the coast of Central America on Monday and is already drawing attention from forecasters as it tracks near Nicaragua and neighboring countries. While Christina is not expected to strengthen into a major storm in the immediate future, its slow movement is forecast to bring heavy rainfall, raising concerns about life-threatening flooding and landslides across parts of Central America in the days ahead. Meteorologist Brian Fields has more in this report, and we leave you with this video.
Monday, June 8th, 2026, I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. Boris has formed, Christina a bigger threat, and we are in action mode in parts of Central America, right back through parts of Mexico. I want to cover that, and a stronger tropical wave that is about to emerge off the coast of Africa, plus still some areas of rain, even near the ABC Islands, kind of filtering toward Haiti and Jamaica. Tracking that, you can see some blobs of rain in through here, in through the Central Caribbean. So some of us dry, others getting some rain, and for us in the northeastern Caribbean, we're looking at another round of some of that dust today, which we'll break down. I'll zoom into some of that dust. Now, as we swing out here we're at Dominica, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago. We've got a couple tropical waves, but there is going to be a stronger one, the strongest of the season, that will emerge off the coast of Africa later this week. And that'll kind of be one to watch as it moves across. We'll cover that in just a moment. Let's get to this, though. This is Boris, which is a brief tropical storm as expected. This is that first area that we've been watching, southern coast of Mexico. Wind's not the biggest factor in this. Rain will be. We'll see some spots. Here's Guerrero, upwards of 300 millimeters of rain, so about 30 centimeters of rain. Upwards of about 40 centimeters will be possible just as Boris comes on shore. The rain, the biggest threat out of this. This area will move in quickly, weaken it, but Acapulco back through Zihuatanejo, we're going to see some of that really heavy rain that kind of works its way back toward the west over the next couple of days. And on the heels of that, another area, this one could be stronger. So this one, by the time you're watching it, may become Christina, and higher concerns on this because of the strength and additional rain with this. Developing right near the coast of Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, even Costa Rica. This will filter in some of that additional rain over the next few days. It'll sit out there for a few days over the open waters of the Eastern Pacific. That's why it's going to be able to develop potentially into a stronger tropical storm, and still a chance it does become a hurricane and then lifts its way very close to El El Salvador and Honduras and kind of back toward Guatemala. And then once again, just hugging the coast of Mexico, which means repeat rain, repeat intense flooding later this week. Now this area, which looks to become Christina, a higher likelihood it becomes a tropical storm. This is a day out, 2 days out, 3 days out. Once you get into this blue shading you're seeing kind of in here, that's tropical storm force. A few of the models, depending on how things kind of break in the environment, make this a hurricane. We'll wait on see on that. But again, the greatest threat in through this area will be intense flooding, days of rain, upwards of 30, 40 centimeters of some of the rain, mudslides, flash flooding, dangerous rivers. So southern coast of Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, right back through western Honduras, western Nicaragua, in western Pacific side of Costa Rica. Action mode for that potential of flooding, which will be intense, which will last days all week long. So we have this spot, which is Boris, but then we're going to see Christina develop, kind of run along that same area. So of high concern, that flooding. So I appreciate you sharing that information, kind of getting it out there, especially Guatemala, El Salvador, where we're going to see really intense rain for days and days, and the potential of a stronger tropical storm that could move in right up through Mexico as well. We swing back through the Caribbean, the Gulf, and the Atlantic, not seeing any signs of immediate development back toward the Gulf. Models kind of have been hinting at that, but what we're going to watch longer term as we get into later the week and the weekend, we'll see a stronger tropical wave emerge off the coast of Africa. That'll kind of be one to watch for the potential of development down the road. Usually things don't develop that far out this time of year, but we've seen the kind of history of things like this in the month of June. Barrel formed in June, so we need to keep an eye on, not that this is going to be a barrel, but we need to keep an eye on these strong tropical waves and know that I'm doing that. A stronger tropical wave will emerge in about 5 to 8 days coming off the coast of Africa, so that'll be one to kind of watch as it works across the Atlantic. Meanwhile, watching the dust, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, back through Antigua, Barbuda, Turks and Caicos, some of that thick dust around, so monitoring that lower air quality in some spots. So this is what's going on. This is what we're watching today. Here are these areas of rain trying to clip the ABC Islands, Haiti, back toward parts of Cuba, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands. Our rain chances getting higher. And then here is Boris, and this is what will become Christina. What I'll do in a moment, I know blocking this, I'm going to zoom down into this in case I'm covering anything up, because I don't want to leave anyone out. And then watching some of that dust that is around. You see for us in the Eastern Caribbean, Grenada, St. Vincent the Grenadines, St. Kitts and Nevis, little quieter, kind of in between, but the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Haiti, we're watching out for some of the rain. Belize, scattered areas of rain, Yucatan Peninsula, and then as we work our way into Wednesday, scattered showers, Cayman Islands back through Cuba as this kind of shifts off, and also watching some of the rain there, Guyana and Suriname, scattered showers will be possible, Trinidad and Tobago, parts of Venezuela as the week goes on. But you see right here, this is Christina developing, getting stronger, potentially into a strong tropical storm, if not a hurricane, as it kind of lifts up to the north. This is by Thursday, drawing in even more moisture, just kind of on the back side of that, filtering in some of that rain, parts of the Yucatan and Belize, but of course, the life-threatening flooding parts of Nicaragua, El Salvador, western Honduras, Guatemala, and the southern coast of Mexico as the week goes on. You see how we're active in here, drawing in that moisture, still back toward the Cayman Islands, and then some of this rain will kind of filter right through the Bay of Campeche, and then meanwhile, deeper into the week, we'll be watching the next tropical waves in that new, stronger one that will be coming off the coast of Africa, that we'll have to watch how it tries to develop as it moves across the Atlantic. Now, watching these two areas here, here's that closer look for you. So here we are in Belize, southern coast of Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, Costa Rica, and get back through Panama. Nicaragua, we're watching again over toward the Pacific side. Boris works in, very heavy rain, Zihuatanejo back through Acapulco at times, and then we draw our attention to this. This is Christina, what should become Christina, and again, may already be a depression by the time you're watching this, filtering in some of that rain, parts of Panama, Costa Rica, back through Nicaragua, even Providencia and San Andres, we may see some of that rain on the Caribbean side, but this here on the Eastern Pacific side is it sits over the water, just gets stronger. Wednesday, you could see kind of a center of this. This could be a tropical storm at this point, and high concerns along the coast because this will just filter in the days of rain, the life-threatening flooding, and that's why I mentioned if you could share this with others, I would appreciate that. Drop this in some of the group chats, and you see by Thursday this will make its way closer to the coast with the potential of a landfalling tropical storm. Could become a hurricane, but as of now looks to be a tropical storm, Guatemala and El Salvador, and then working its way on Friday right along the coast back to where Boris was. So I'll make it a little break in some of the rain. Then we start to see it kind of shifting back along the coast over toward Acapulco again, and that's why it's that life-threatening flood threat. We're dealing with two systems out here, Boris and what will become Christina, as we work our way forward. Now, taking a look to the north, here we are with some of this moisture near Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba, moving toward the Cayman Islands, and we have these fronts, one near Bermuda, another one across the southeast U.S. This here is by tomorrow moving forward in time. Of course, all eyes on what's going on in the eastern Pacific, but in this pocket here back through Florida, northern and central Bahamas, a little quieter. Fronts to the north and fronts down to the south, Haiti and the DR, Jamaica, Cayman Islands, scattered areas of rain tomorrow, and then on Wednesday, one front off to the east of Bermuda. And you see again back through Florida, generally some of that quieter weather. So on the Atlantic basin side, the first name in the season will be Arthur. We don't have that, and I don't see any signs of that right now. Just kind of watching a few areas out there, and we'll watch that next tropical wave that emerges off the coast of Africa, or the bigger one that will eventually come off. Amanda, we had that briefly back toward the Pacific over the open waters. Boris is the name now, and Christina is the next name on the list. This is the list on the eastern Pacific side, a different set of names. All right, let's lift to the north. Some severe weather, parts of Canada, back toward the Great Lakes. There's a rain. Southeast U.S., back toward Mexico City, also seeing the rain. Newfoundland, Avalon Peninsula, watching some of the rain later today. Shifting off to the east, there's some of the rain. Quebec, Ontario, back through New York, Pennsylvania, down through West Virginia. And then seeing this moisture from Mexico kind of feeding up right here, back toward New Mexico. Some stronger storms will be a possibility in through here. And then by the time we get into Wednesday, another area mid-Atlantic of the United States, back toward New England with rain, and Winnipeg south, another shot of some of the rain, but a little quieter midweek as we get back toward the southern United States. Watching the seas, of course, the next few days, they will be a mess. Over toward the eastern Pacific. Elsewhere, we're doing a little bit better. But of course, with Boris and what will become Christina, very high, elevated, dangerous seas here. And we'll see that coastal flooding depending on your terrain, of course, and that life-threatening flooding. So watching the rain outlook, Florida, we may catch a shower. Bahamas, we may catch a shower. A little bit more back toward Cuba. Some spots upwards of about 25 millimeters to about 50 millimeters of rain with some of those afternoon storms. But parts of Jamaica will have some spots over 50 millimeters of rain. Let me know if you do get any showers. We'll have other spots that are dry. Same thing, Cayman Islands, Grand the next few days. Little bit of a better chance versus Bracken Little. And then some spotty storms, Haiti and the DR, not for all of us, but some areas of rain. And of course, watching some of that dust around, some of the dust in through here, at least for today. This is where it's a bit quieter. St. Martin, Saba, Statia, St. Kitts and Nevis, not as much. And a bit quieter. A couple showers possible, Dominica South. Could see a few more spotty showers the next few days back through Trinidad and Tobago. Let me know if you happen to get any. Grenada, rain chance staying kind of minimal. Rain will build in again, eventually Suriname, Guyana, as we watch those next tropical waves moving in. Venezuela, Colombia, watching out for some showers. And this morning, I've been watching the rain near the ABC Islands. Let me know if you do catch any showers. Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire, but these are those high totals of high concern right in through here. You see these black shading, some of these reds popping up, 150 to 200 millimeters of rain. And this here is just through Wednesday. It doesn't include Christina's totals that will work in as well Thursday, Friday, into Saturday, and work along the southern coast of Mexico. Scattered areas of rain, Mexico City, Yucatan Peninsula, not as much Merida and Campeche, a little bit more Cancun, Cozumel. Southern U.S. a bit quieter, but still around Georgia and parts of Alabama, we could see some spots upwards of about 4 inches of some of the rain. And watching a few of those showers again back toward the Atlantic region of Canada. Bermuda, most of the action is sitting off to the east. So Jamaica, about half and half the next few days. Some of us get some of the rain, others don't. But where we get some of the rain, we could get some of the flooding and some of that quick runoff. And you see the Cayman Islands, but again, a better chance over toward Grand the next few days of seeing some of the rain. Keep me posted across the Cayman Islands. Trinidad and Tobago by Wednesday. that better chance of some scattered showers with that next tropical wave Wednesday in Trinidad and Tobago will be up to about a 50% chance. Barbados, St. Lucia, rain chance staying kind of minimal. It's not zero, but the rain chance is not super high. Today looking at a 30% chance of a passing shower in Grenada, and we'll have about a 20% chance tomorrow and just an isolated chance over the next few days. St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Rain chance staying minimal. Martinique, passing shower, couple pop-up showers, especially with the terrain back through Dominica and Guadeloupe, looking at a 20 to 30% chance through the middle of the week. Lower air quality today. Antigua and Barbuda, still some of the dust. Same thing, St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat, low air quality as the day goes on, and we're mainly dry. Anguilla and St. Bart's, rain chance so low, just a 10 to 20% chance. St. Martin, Saba, and Statia, a low chance with a low air quality today. Back through Puerto Rico, rain chance only 20%, and a 10% chance today, U.S. and British Virgin Islands with some of the dust. Let me know if you have any of that. Back through the Bahamas, some spotty showers possible, 30 to 40% chance, and about a 40% chance as we work our way back through the Turks and Caicos. Rain chance today in Haiti, a 50% chance, but down to a 30% chance tomorrow. Same thing in the Dominican Republic. Tomorrow and Wednesday, we're down to a 30% chance. Back through Belize, keeping an eye on Christina. Of course, it's down to the south on the Pacific side, but it may eventually filter in some rain. So we'll be watching that, kind of the wraparound moisture back through Belize mid to late week. Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire, if we're going to get some rain, today would be the best shot of seeing some of those showers. So I'll be watching your comments as we go forward. Then we get back through Guyana and Suriname. You see how we get toward the middle of the week? The rain chance bumps up again. Suriname on Wednesday will be up to an 80% chance of rain. 50% chance of some scattered showers and storms today in Cuba, Costa Rica, and Panama, especially closer to the Pacific. More you are to the west, the better chance of some of that rain and the potential of flooding. Same thing in Nicaragua. Life-threatening flooding will be a potential. Western zones as the week goes on. Honduras, same thing. Closer to the Pacific, the higher chance of rain, watching the flooding, the mudslides very carefully, and that intense rain at times throughout the entire week. Guatemala and El Salvador, very dangerous rivers, watching out for that landslide potential. But again, if you live along a river, please use some of the caution over the next few days. This is going to be real deal rain that continues to work in as we work our way forward. Now, taking a look at the rain chance as we get back toward Mexico City, 50 to 60% chance as we get back toward the Yucatan Peninsula, again, favoring eastern sections with that higher chance of rain. Northern Colombia, 50% chance as the day goes on, and about a 40 to 50% chance the next 2 days in northern Venezuela. We get back through Bermuda, rain chance relatively low over the next 3 days. Next couple of days in Orlando, Central Florida, rain chance still staying low at least the next couple of days. Back through Tampa, we get back through South Florida, just a 30% chance for today, including the Florida Keys. Houston, rain chance running at 30% as we look over toward Texas. So Boris bringing that flooding to parts of Mexico. Christina, that is what is forming next with that life-threatening flooding all week long. And then that stronger tropical wave that'll emerge off the coast of Africa in about 5 to 8 days. We'll monitor that for signs of development. The first name on the Atlantic Basin side will be Arthur. So a busy pattern. Be safe if you're dealing with Boris and eventually what will become Christina. Please, thank you for sharing this information with others. Have a good start to your week.
WESN